Assalamu alaikum. Hi, and thank you for joining us. We are here in Richmond, Virginia, standing outside the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, where three CAIR lawyers earlier today presented argument in support of Abrar Omeish's case. The case regards the issue of whether a jail or prison can require a Muslim woman to remove her hijab as part of taking a mugshot in the booking process, as well as whether a police officer can pepper spray a person who's not resisting in any kind of physical way. With us are Abrar herself, as well as members of the legal team. I'm going to hand it off to Justin Sadowski, who presented argument on the excessive force issue.
Abrar Omeish was pepper sprayed, even though she didn't actively resist. The officer had a mood, and she didn't act fast enough for the officer, and so she got pepper sprayed. That is illegal. It is unconstitutional. And we were here today to argue whether, even though it was constitutional, whether a made-up judicial policy called qualified immunity should nevertheless shield the officer, because nobody else has quite pepper sprayed somebody under these exact same circumstances. Inshallah, qualified immunity will not apply in this case, and we will get to bring our case to trial, and Omeish will have her day in court. But the scourge of qualified immunity will continue to live on until Congress gets rid of it. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, may peace be on to all of you. Obviously, in a case like this, there are all kinds of personal implications, and that takes what it takes to heal from and come forward from. But really, today, what's most important is the fact that we continue to live in a country, in a society, where we claim the rule of law, where we celebrate the fact that the law doesn't ignore anyone, and that everyone has their day in court. And yet, qualified immunity continues to be a barrier to being able to put people to justice. Why? Because they happen to wear a particular uniform, or they happen to bear a certain title or position. And that we're seeing through this case and so many others across this country that this has become an issue that we've seen, of course, black males struggle with, and our black brothers and sisters who have dealt with police brutality issues for generations, and now seeing the reach of this kind of problem in so many different communities, with Muslims now being 5 times as likely as the average American to be harassed by the police. And it's something we all have to stand against. And I recognize today I'm also experiencing this as someone who has a lot of privilege, someone who was an elected official and who knew to find the right people to stand up for justice. But there are so many. I think back at that moment when I encountered the police officer who had no patience and began with an aggressive tone from the beginning. What if I was someone who needed a little bit more patience, who had a disability, autism, who didn't speak English properly, someone who was undocumented? That could have looked like a very different day. And it's our job today and forever to be standing up against the oppression that we're experiencing at the hands of our own state. And as someone who serves in a local capacity advancing the mission of the state, I expect better, I demand better, and I know Fairfax County and Virginia stand for better. So I look forward to the day when we can put those days past us. And of course, the second piece of this case being about the hijab, which is a symbol of dignity for all Muslim women across this country. And just in the same way that we stand up for bodily autonomy in resistance to cases against women being able to make decisions about their bodies, this is just as much a decision that Muslim women make in honor and dignity of their faith and choices they make about their bodies. So let us stand together and be consistent when we decide that these are going to be priorities for everyone. And we pray for a useful outcome that hopefully serves as a precedent, not just in this case, but for cases that hopefully we avoid, but that can challenge this kind of oppression on the ground in the future.
The Fourth Circuit will make a decision in the 3 separate matters in the coming months. If you have any additional questions, feel free to contact the legal team at ldf@cair.com. And Abrar Omeish stood up and fought back, and because of that, the sheriff's office had to destroy an uncovered photograph that was taken of her. And we think that that moment was the beginning of the end of that practice statewide in Virginia, and inshallah, with people's focus and the community's support, we'll be able to change that. Jazakallah khair. Thanks for joining us.